Hello. Today's objective is to represent integer operations with concrete models to connect the actions with the models to the standardized algorithms. That's a lot of words, and what it really means is that we're going to learn to work with integers, and the operation we're going to use will be adding, and we're going to use models, and the models we'll use today will be number lines. We're going to switch to different models tomorrow. Write this down in your journal for number 1 as your objective. Number 2, write down guiding question. How can you represent an addition or subtraction problem with models? Today is only addition, but it's still okay. Skip 3 lines and you'll answer it at the end of the video. How can you represent an addition problem with a number line is more specific model. Now, just watch this one. Don't solve this one yet. When you look at a number line, how do you tell how far it is between one number and another? So right now, we're really just learning to count spaces. Remember, we count the spaces or the jumps and not the lines. So first, we're going to do between +1 and +7. So I look at 1 and I look at 7. And I'm going to count how many spaces there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 spaces between 1 and 7. Okay, I could say 7 minus 1 is 6, or I could say 1 plus 6 is 7. How many spaces are between -5 and +6? So look over at -5 and +6. There are a few ways we could do this. We could just count straight across here, and you would count 11 spaces. But there's another trick. I can look at a 0 here. I can say, how far is it from 5 to 0, or -5 to 0? That's 5 spaces. And then now, in the positive direction, from 0 to 6. This will be 6 spaces. So all total, that would be 11 spaces. So you could say that -5 plus 11 equals +6. We'll get into more detail with that in just a few minutes. Now it's your turn. Number 3, on your introductory problem, you will need to write a number line. You'll need to create one of your own that goes from -10 to +10. When you create this, put a dot on -7 and +8, and you're going to want to count the spaces between them. Draw your number line to show how you determine the distance between -7 and 8. Remember to count the spaces, not the lines. Okay. Number 4, based on what you just did with your number line, what do you think the rule will be for finding the difference between positive and negative numbers? And what that means is the difference is how far apart they are. If you have one number that's negative and one that's positive, what do you think is going to be that rule? How do I find the distance between them? If you're not sure yet, it's okay to give your best guess. Okay, now it's time for practice. You may want to go ahead and pause and draw out 3 number lines. Okay, now I'm going to walk through the first one a little bit because it's different directions than what you had a minute ago. Okay, so you're going to use a number line to show how that you start at -3. I'm going to put a -3, and you're going to move 8 spaces in the positive direction. You're going to start counting spaces in the positive direction is this way. This represents -3 plus 8. So what do you think your answer would be? Show your work. This is number 5, your first practice problem. Number 6, that's a lot like it. You want to use your number line to show how you would start at +4 and move 5 spaces in the negative direction, and that is left. So this represents +4 plus -5. What do you think your answer would be? And remember, these should be on separate number lines. Number 7, use your number line to show how you would start at -1 and move 6 spaces in the negative direction. So this one is actually -1 plus a -6. So you're already in the negative area and you're moving farther in the negative area. Number 8, we're going to go ahead and give you the rules here for adding integers on a number line. Okay, the very first thing you do is you start at your first number. So if you had a -2, you would start at -2. Then you're going to move the amount of spaces of the second number. So if my second number was a 6 and it's a +6, then I'm going to move in the positive direction. If my second number was a -6, then I would start at -2 and move 6 spaces in the negative direction. But it's very important to write down these rules just like this. These will be your notes. Okay. Number 9, what questions do you still have? And if you have no questions at all, just state what you think will be most difficult about this topic. It all may be pretty simple, but show what do you think could be more difficult? What can get kind of confusing about it? And number 10, how well do you understand this? Just write a 1 if you are completely confused about this topic. A 2, you understand a little bit but not very much yet. Number 3, if you understand most of it. Put a 4 if you understand but you don't think you could teach someone else yet. And put a 5 if you know this and you could teach someone else. You've got it and you're ready to move on. Have a great night.